The weather is cold, which means that baseball is hot. Welcome back to Good Sports for You, where we are talking about good sports for you. And so much has went down since I made my last trade talk, signing talk video. So we are going to talk about it all right here on Good Sports for You. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. I am coming out with content all off season long, so make sure to follow along to keep up to date on everything that you need to know about baseball. So we're going to go over a lot of deals. Some of them are going to be big. Some of them are going to be small. So, if you want to skip along to the bigger ones like Kyle Schwarber or Pete Alonso, feel free to do so. But I'm going over everything. So to start off, we got Anthony Kay going to the Chicago White Sox on a 2-year deal worth $12 million. He really struggled in the big league level when he last pitched here. Then he went over to Japan and really thrived. He had a 1.74 ERA last season. I like this deal for the White Sox. It's a low risk. It's only $6 million a year and kind of a decent reward. You could get a quality starting pitcher for sure. I wouldn't expect anything major though, but this definitely could be a push in the right direction for the Chicago White Sox. Next up, we have Miguel Rojas re-signing with the Dodgers on a 1-year deal worth $5.5 million. I will say I was surprised that he was re-signing. I thought that this was going to be his last season, but because, he went out on such a high note. But he had a great season. There was obviously still a market for him. He put up 2.1 wins above replacement according to Baseball Reference last year, which is a really good season. He is a productive player still. He can play a little bit everywhere, and he is a clubhouse leader. And obviously, he had that Game 7 home run, which was so huge and so incredible. But he has said that this is going to be his last season, so congratulations to Miguel Rojas on a fantastic career. Next up is going to be the first trade we talk about, and that is the Boston Red Sox acquiring 3 players. The highlight is going to be Johan Oviedo, who had a 3.57 ERA last season. That was coming off of Tommy John surgery. So he is going to be a starting pitcher or like a potential reliever for the Red Sox. So they're just looking to bolster up that pitching staff. You also got a couple of minor league pieces, a minor league arm, and also a catcher who's 22 years old, who was a 5th rounder last season. In return, the Pirates got outfield prospect The Password, aka Hostinson Garcia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I really tried. He's 23 years old. He is the Pirates' now 6th overall prospect in MLB's 85th overall prospect. So he is a high-level prospect, which the Pirates really need, especially for position players. It looks like they already got their starting pitching pretty much lined up, especially with the prospects. So they're looking to add to that position player depth. And when you got a young, talented player, that's exactly what they're looking for. And also they got a bit of a lottery ticket with an 18-year-old prospect who has experience in A-ball and rookie ball. So the Pirates are taking their lottery tickets where they can get it, and they're adding a very high-level prospect. Next up is going to be the Mariners, and they are acquiring left-handed reliever Jose Ferrer. He's 25 years old. He has a career .436 ERA. And the Nationals, in return, got Harry Ford, which is MLB's 42nd overall prospect, and now the Nationals' 2nd overall prospect. He's 22 years old with minimal MLB experience. He's a catching prospect, and they also got another prospect in Isaac Leone. He's a right-handed pitcher, a 10th rounder. He's 21 years old. He had a 7.90 ERA in A-ball this past season. But Harry Ford is definitely the highlight of this trade. I was kind of stunned. I thought he was going to have a little bit more value than a 25-year-old left-handed reliever who only really has okay stats. But obviously the Mariners have their catcher long-term in Cal Raleigh, so I'm sure they were just like, we'll take what we can get. But Harry Ford is a high-level prospect, and that's exactly what the Nationals are looking for right now. So now they maybe have secured their catcher of the future. Next up, we got some smaller deals here and there. We got Mike Soroka heading to the Diamondbacks on a 1-year, $7.5 million contract. He's a very talented starter. You only have to look at his 2019 to see how good he could possibly be. However, he has been injury-riddled basically ever since that 2019 season. He's really barely pitched. He's pitched here, he's pitched there, but not really to any great level of success. But if the Diamondbacks can really tap into anything with Mike Soroka, that would be a huge low-risk signing for them. Next up is going to be Steven Matz with the Tampa Bay Rays on a 2-year deal worth $15 million. He's a career .419 lefty reliever. He had a 2.08 ERA, though, in Boston in 21.2 innings last year after a trade that they made. He's an 11-year-old vet, and if you know anything about the Tampa Bay Rays, you know that they can turn pitchers into absolute studs. So this, for all we know, could have been the signing of the offseason. He could turn into a stud with the Rays, or he could just be an average productive reliever. Either way, I think the Rays are happy signing him on a small deal only worth $15 million across 2 years. Next up is the big one with Kyle Schwarber returning back to the city of brotherly love on a 5-year deal worth $150 million. An absolutely huge contract for a guy who is also just a DH. That's an AAV of $30 million. I mean, he's done everything to earn it. He was arguably the best bat in the entire free agent market. I mean, last season he batted .240 with a .365 on base percentage, a .563 slugging, a .928 on base plus slugging for a .150 OPS plus, which means that he's 50% better than the league average hitter. In addition, he had 56 home runs last season, which was the most in the National League, and 136 RBIs, the most across all of baseball. He finished second in MVP voting, and in his 4 years with Philadelphia, he batted .226, which may not sound good, but he also had a .349 on base percentage, a .507 slugging, an .856 OPS, and a .134 OPS plus. So he was a combined 34% better than the league average player during his entire time in Philly. He averaged about 47 home runs and 108 RBIs every single season, in addition to receiving MVP votes every single year. Obviously, this was something that the Phillies needed to get done. If they were losing Kyle Schwarber, they probably would have been out of contention. He has been their guy for the past 4 years. So to bring him back, even if it's on a huge contract, is absolutely worth it, in my opinion. The Phillies needed to get it done in order to stay in contention. Next up, speaking of contenders, is Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers on another huge deal, especially for a reliever. 3 years, $69 million in total. He had a 1.63 ERA last season with 28 saves, a 2.48 ERA plus. That means he was 148% better than the league average pitcher last season. For his career, I mean, he's just absolutely incredible. He has a 2.82 ERA, 253 saves. He did have 1 weak season in Queens, and that was in 2019. Where he had a 5.59 ERA, which obviously you don't love to see, but he has been so productive since that one kind of rough season. And the rich just get richer. I mean, the Dodgers are the best team ever constructed, and they had one weakness, and that was their bullpen. And now you are adding basically the best reliever on the open market. I don't know how the Dodgers can get any better, and they just keep on getting better and throwing money at players. So huge signing for the Dodgers, and Edwin Diaz got his bag. And the Mets, that was their first thing that was like, oh, this is not good. And next up is going to be a trade, and that was Vaughn Grissom, a former top prospect. He was going to the Angels in exchange for Isaiah Jackson, who is the Angels' 25th overall prospect. He's unranked in the Red Sox system, though. He was an 8th rounder. Vaughn Grissom, he was a former top prospect in the Braves organization, and then he became a Red Sox. He was really not great for his whole entire career in the big leagues. He really struggled in 2024 with a 33 OPS plus, which means he was 67% worse than league average, but he was pretty solid in AAA this year with a 783 OPS. So maybe the Angels can make something out of him. And Isaiah Jackson, honestly, just like a lottery ticket, essentially, is what you got there in a young prospect who's only 21 years old, who's only had 10 games in high A. So the Red Sox will see what they can do there. And the Angels got somebody who they can hope to turn into a reclamation project. And next up is going to be another signing. That's Gregory Soto to the Pirates on a 1-year deal worth $775 million. He has a career ERA of 4.26 and a 4.18 ERA last season. So the Pirates just cleaning up around the edges. I would love to see them make a big deal, though. And then also cleaning up around the edges, we got Kyle Finnegan re-signing with the Tigers on a 2-year deal worth $19 million. He has a career 3.55 ERA last season with a 3.47 ERA last season and a 1.50 ERA in his 18 innings that he pitched with the Tigers last season after a midseason trade. So, I mean, if the Tigers, if they can find what they found in that little bit with him last season, this could turn into a very productive offseason for both of them. And next up is another huge deal, and that is Pete Alonso to the Baltimore Orioles on a 5-year deal worth $155 million, and that is the most average value for a first baseman ever. Obviously, Pete Alonso is one of the best hitters in the game. Last season, he batted .272 with a 347 on base percentage, a 524 slugging, with an 871 on base plus slugging for a 144 OPS plus, with 34 home runs and 126 RBIs. For his career, he's one of the best Mets hitters ever. He has a 135 OPS plus. So for his career with the Mets, he was 35% better than league average. He was averaging 42 home runs this season and 114 RBIs. He was a career-long Met, and now he is gone. And I mean, he's the all-time leader in Mets home runs. And I mean, the Mets just have to feel like they were absolutely reeling at this point in the offseason, losing Edwin Diaz, losing Pete Alonso, and trading Brendan Nimmo, all guys who have been Mets long-term. I'm not really sure what the Mets and David Stearns were doing out there, but Pete Alonso to the Orioles, and that is a huge signing for the Orioles, as now they're adding a veteran bat to this young, talented squad. And also, they've been making trades along the edges and making signings along the edges. So now you're looking at a lineup that has Pete Alonso, Jackson Holliday, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Colton Cowser. Like, all of these guys, if they can have decent season, Gunnar Henderson, we know what he can be. If Jackson Holliday can reach half the potential that we talked about when he got drafted, if Adley Rutschman can live up to the hype that he had when he got drafted, and if Pete Alonso can be Pete Alonso, this can be one of the most formidable teams in all of the American League and easily in the American League East as they try to make a run for that crown. Next up, we have a smaller deal, although it is still a name brand player. This is Mike Yastrzemski, an outfielder, and he is going to the Atlanta Braves on a 2-year deal worth $223 million. He's had a really solid career. I mean, he has a 113 OPS plus for his career, which is really solid. Last season, he had a 109 OPS plus, so only 9% better than league average. But where he really boosted that is in his 50 games when he got traded to the Royals. He had a 131 OPS plus, so 31% better than league average. The thing is, expect him to platoon a lot for the Braves. He's really great against lefties, against righties, but he really struggled against lefties, especially in this past season. So expect to see some platooning with him, but also he's a plus defender in the outfield. He can play a little bit of everywhere, especially, you got Jurickson Profar there, who's not really the best defender in the world. But you also got Michael Harris Jr., Michael Harris II, and you got Ronald Acuna Jr. So, you got 4 legit outfielders now for the Atlanta Braves. Next up is going to be Mark Leiter Jr. to the A's on a 1-year deal worth $3 million. There's not a lot to say. He's a 6-year vet, a 4.60 ERA on his career, and a 4.84 ERA last season. But, the A's, I guess, are trying to make some moves. And Robert Suarez to the Braves. This was another huge deal. So the Braves are out here making moves. One of the better relievers in the game. He had 40 saves last season with a 2.97 ERA for the Padres. He has a 2.91 career ERA. And also the thing is, you pair this with them bringing back Raisel Iglesias earlier in the offseason on a 1-year deal worth $16 million. He has a career 2.90 ERA. Basically pretty close to Robert Suarez. So now you got a real legit 1-2 punch as your setup and closer guy for the Atlanta Braves. So they could definitely be making moves out in the NL East this season. Do not be surprised if they try to make a run for this division title. Next up, we got a couple of Cubs deals. Hoby Milner is going to the Cubs on a 1-year deal worth $3.75 million. For his career, he has a 3.82 ERA. I remember him with the Milwaukee Brewers. I always really liked him. He played for Craig Counsell. So, if Craig Counsell can know how to bring him back, expect a solid season out of Hoby Milner, but I wouldn't be expecting, an ace caliber reliever or anything like that. And also you got Phil Maton signing a 2-year deal with $14.5 million. He had a 2.79 ERA last season and has a career ERA of about a 4. So Cubs cleaning up around the edges, bringing in some relief help and stuff like that. Next up is going to be a big-time extension with Maikel Garcia signing an extension with the Royals, a 5-year deal worth $57.5 million with the potential to go up to around $85 million. According to sources. Obviously, he was one of the best players in the league this season, finishing pretty high up in MVP voting. And now you got Bobby Witt Jr. and Maikel Garcia basically shored up for the foreseeable future to shore up that infield, and the Royals try to build up this young core to try to make them into a contender. Next up, we got a couple of small deals here or there. Lane Thomas, outfielder, also signing with the Royals on a 1-year deal worth $5.25 million. He has a career 105 OPS plus, so 5% better than the league average. But last season, he had a 45 OPS plus, so well below that league average that you want to see. Next up, we have Akil Baddoo going to the Brewers on a 1-year deal. You may remember him from his very productive 2021 season, but after that, he's really struggled. He has a career 88 OPS plus and a -4 OPS plus last season. So the average is a 100 OPS plus, right? 0 means you are 100% worse than league average. -4 means that you are 104% better than league average. So you do not love to see this. I mean, but it's a low-risk deal with the Brewers, and honestly, it could pay off big time if they can find out a way to channel some of that 2021 spark that he once had. Next up is going to be a bigger deal. There's going to be Tyler Rogers to the Toronto Blue Jays on a 3-year deal worth $37 million. You may know him as a submarine pitcher. He's got such a low release. He has a career 2.76 ERA with a 1.98 ERA last season. He last played for the Mets, so the Mets are losing yet another player. But Tyler Rogers, obviously, we know what he can do, and he's just going to be bringing a different look out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays. The bullpen is a little bit where they struggled last season, so they're looking to shore that up right now, and they're also doing that by making a trade for Chase Lee from the Tigers, who has a career 4.10 ERA. He only has one season in the bigs, but the Blue Jays trying to clean up around the edges. And one thing that I saw them talking about was the release point of Trey Savage, who has one of the highest release points in all of baseball, to Tyler Rogers, who has one of the lowest release points in all of baseball. So being a batter, you're seeing Trey Savage come up all the way up here in your first AB, and then you got Tyler Rogers, all the way like down here in your next AB. So all of that is things to think about for the Blue Jays as they're making big-time moves. Next up is Danny Jansen, who's a catcher to the Rangers on a 2-year deal worth $14.5 million. He was a Brewer at the tail end of last season. He had a 101 OPS plus last season and a career 99. So basically the Rangers are getting a solid hitting catcher, which you can always use if you're being a team who's looking to make some noise. They also signed relievers Alexis Diaz, according to sources, who had an 8.15 ERA last season, but a career 3.38 season with really, really good 2022s and 2023s. And they also got Tyler Alexander, who has a career 4.63 ERA. He was a Brewer last year. I know him for being able to do some spot starts and coming in relief. So, I mean, the Rangers just, again, trying to clean up around the edges. They already made a huge deal earlier in the season with trading Marcus Semien and for Brandon Nimmo. So the Rangers are just trying to basically looking to clean up right now. Next up, we have Jorge Polanco to the Mets. The Mets finally making some noise on a 2-year deal worth $40 million. Jorge Polanco, we know to be one of the better hitters in all of the MLB. A career 112 OPS plus, so 12% better than league average on his career. Last season, he was phenomenal, though, with a 134 OPS plus. However, though, he's primarily a second baseman. The reports is that he's not going to play second base when he is with the Mets. That's really where he struggles. He's not a good defender whatsoever. So expect him to be playing some DH, maybe even some first base for the Mets, even though he's barely played first base. But that is what the rumor mill has been saying and everything like that. And next up is Amed Rosario back to the Yankees on a 1-year deal worth $2.5 million. He can play a little bit of everywhere. He's about a career average hitter, but last season in his little bit of time with the Yankees, he had a 303 average, which is really what I want to focus on because that's what I think the Yankees need is they need situational hitting. They need guys who can hit for a high average. So if Amed Rosario can do that, I mean, he's a career 273 career hitter, which is really what you like to see. And I really think that the Yankees need that. They don't need guys who it's just like, it's home run or bust. They need guys who can hit. Just hit the ball and put it in play. He doesn't walk at a very high rate, but again, I don't think that's what the Yankees need. They need a utility guy who can just slap the ball around, so I like the move for the Yankees on a very low contract. Next up is going to be Kenley Jansen to the Tigers on a 1-year deal, according to sources. Veteran closer. I mean, last season he had a 2.59 ERA as a really old closer. You'd like to see that. But the thing that I most want to highlight is his Hall of Fame candidacy. He is currently 4th in all-time saves with 476. He only needs 2 more to be in 3rd all-time, tied with Lee Smith. Relievers are one of the hardest things to get into the Hall of Fame with. So for Kenley Jansen to be that high in the career saves leaders, if he's top 3 all-time when he retires, I feel like he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. And all of these 1-year deals and pitching very well, honestly, with these teams will help propel his case, which I love for him. And I like the move for the Tigers as well. They're getting the bullpen help that they want. And the deal with Kyle Finnegan, on top of that, I just think that they're making moves that I really like for the squad. Next up is Dustin May to the Cardinals on a 1-year deal. He's a 6-year vet, which is crazy to say because I remember like when he came up, it's like, oh, Dustin May, and he's got all this hair and stuff like that. He's a career 3.86 career ERA, which, I mean, you like to see. Last season, he struggled with an ERA around a 5. He's coming off of injury. There's a lot of stuff going on. But you get a quality starting pitcher for the Cardinals, which I guess sure. If they find some magic, maybe they can make some moves this season to try to get back in the Central race. But I don't see it happening. And honestly, this just seems like a move of we need a vet to be a starter because we need starters right now. And the final move of the day is going to be the Brewers, my Milwaukee Brewers, trading rookie outfield stud Isaac Collins and reliever Nick Mears to the Royals for reliever Angel Zerpa. Angel Zerpa, it confused me if I'm being 100% honest as a Brewers fan, but as I was looking into it, the more and more I liked it for the Brewers. Isaac Collins is a stud. I love him. The Royals got a fantastic player. He finished fourth in the Rookie of the Year voting this past season. A .263 batting average, but a .368 on base percentage. So he is drawing walks. He makes good at-bats happen. That is what he does. He slaps the ball around. He's a really, really good player. He's a solid defender. 118 OPS plus last season. And Nick Mears is, again, another solid player. He has a career .461 ERA, which sounds pretty high, but you have to remember he played with the Rockies for a long time. He had a .349 ERA in this past season. He was one of our better relievers. And on the Royals side of things, they're giving up Angel Zerpa, who, again, like I said, he has a career ERA around a 4, which I don't love. However, he's 99th in ground ball percentile. He's one of the best ground ball relief pitchers in the big leagues. And when you have a team who is so defense-oriented like the Milwaukee Brewers, with Bryce Terang, with Joey Ortiz, with Caleb Durbin, all of those players are plus defenders in the infield. So you want to get guys who get the ball into the ground, and that is exactly what this reliever is going to do for the Brewers. So that is everything that I got. I know I went over so much with you today. If there's anything that I didn't mention, leave it in the comment section down below so I can give my thoughts and opinions. Give your thoughts and opinions on all the big moves that happened. I want to hear your opinions, especially on those Pete Alonso, Kyle Schwarber, Edwin Diaz, on those types of deals. I want to see if you can figure out what the Mets are trying to get done. But I appreciate you watching so much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and I'm out. Peace.